No, Mehdi, I mean, this is kind of the topic of an op-ed that I penned this week for the Los Angeles Times, that failure is becoming this familiar refrain for the Republican Party. Back into the 2012 cycle, there were candidates that were extreme that won in primaries, like Todd Akin, Richard Murdoch, Josh Mandel. They ended up losing their Senate races. Mitch McConnell was denied becoming the majority leader. And here we are 10 years later, and the Republican Party just repeated the same cycle, electing unelectable primary candidates who ran to the fringe, warmly embraced Donald Trump, and the voters overwhelmingly rejected them. And the idea that there's this autopsy being done is comical, because all they need to do is dust off the one from 2012, 2013 that Michael Steele did that they apparently no one ever read or internalized in any way. And here we are having this conversation. And as a Democrat now, and as someone who's advised the DNC, the DCCC, I'm all for it, Mehdi. Keep doubling down on failure. Keep repeating the same mistakes. Keep giving Democrats victories, because at some point you can only lead a horse to water. You got to want to help yourself, and they apparently have no interest in doing so at all.
Kurt Bardella, convener of the new group Democrats for Ronald McDaniel. Brendan, last weekend, everyone was wondering whether Republicans would condemn Trump for dining with a Holocaust denier. This weekend, people are wondering whether Republicans will condemn him for calling for a termination of the Constitution. How sustainable is it for Republicans to keep dodging and running away from Trump's weekly madness and authoritarianism right up until November 2024?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly tried before. I mean, I do think it's important. There have been plenty of Republicans who have denounced that meeting, maybe not all of them denouncing Donald Trump. But, that's a pretty low bar. I don't think anybody deserves a medal for saying you shouldn't have dinner with a neo-Nazi. I get that. Actually, I think the message, and I don't know that many people, any Republican voters, are going to be looking to you, Mehdi, for messaging. But I do think calling Donald Trump a loser might be the best thing that we can do to try to move on from him. Republicans, while, apparently very willing to go along with a lot, I think are getting pretty tired of losing. And I think Donald Trump for a long time tried to project this idea that he's a winner. And my old boss, I think that's what he's been saying. If we have Donald Trump, we lose. And that, I think, is picking up a little steam. Calling him racist, I don't think it's going to turn off Republican voters. We've learned that. Being outraged, I don't think is going to get the job done. But I think painting him as a loser might be enough to get people to open their eyes to other possibilities, like Ron DeSantis, who I know you'll be really excited about in September.
Oh, so excited. But yes, calling Donald Trump a loser does have the virtue of also being true. And as for Republicans not taking advice from me, sometimes I look at my Twitter feed and feel like Republicans are paying too much attention to what I have to say. Kurt, just a few days ago, Kevin McCarthy tweeted that they, the Republican Party controlling the House, will read every single word of the Constitution aloud on the first day of the new GOP-led House. And this week, Donald Trump says we should terminate the Constitution altogether. I mean, is irony dead at this point?
Oh, my gosh. You can't make this stuff up. Like, if you were to write a fictitious show and pitch this script, people would say, my God, that would never happen in real life, right? And here we are living this out. And it's interesting. I remember back when I was Republican serving in the House, how many times you heard Republicans call out the Obama administration, claiming that they were anti-Constitution, claiming that they were lawless. I remember Steve Scalise putting press releases out specifically saying that Obama wants to shred the Constitution. And where are those Republicans now that Donald Trump just said, let's throw the Constitution out the window? I think that time and again, Republicans kind of benefit from this bar that's been set that they're going to act badly, so they kind of get away with it, and no one really calls them out on that. Every single D.C. Beltway political reporter should be camping outside every single Republican in Congress and saying, do you agree with the person who's been leading your party, your standard bearer, the person that you continue to follow off the cliff? Do you agree with him that Constitution should be thrown out? Because I'll tell you what, Mehdi, and you and I both know this, if Barack Obama, if Hillary Clinton, if Joe Biden said something like that, the right would be having a meltdown right now and talking about impeachment or something,